It kind of came and went at the box office around the holidays. Did not do very well, but with one Academy Award nomination, Best Supporting Actress for Danielle Brooks, you can now catch it on Max. Let's talk The Color Purple. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my movie review for The Color Purple. This is streaming on Max right now. This is the new 2023 musical version, of course, of the film. And if you missed it in theaters, you can now see it. I actually had ample opportunity to see this movie in theaters, but I got the book for Christmas. This is, of course, based on the classic Alice Walker novel, and I had read it in high school, so that's decades ago at this point. I hate to say, but so I asked for it for Christmas because I'm like, I want to read the book again before I go see the movie. And I have a lot of things to do. I don't read like a speed demon here, so it took me a few weeks. So by the time I was done the book, it wasn't playing in theaters anymore. So luckily we can see it now on Max. And I also never saw the original movie either. I was only like 7 or 8 when that came out. And so wasn't really going to see it then. And then when I read the book in high school, we didn't have streaming services. I guess I could have rented it at the local video store, but back then most of our video rentals were family viewing. Oh, let's gather everybody to watch this movie. Nobody wanted to watch The Color Purple, so it just sort of went by the wayside, and over the years I never did see it. So this is my first experience with a filmed version of The Color Purple, even though I've now read the book twice. But before we launch in any further to the movie, let me welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. We do movie and TV reviews here on the channel, and just about every day I like to post something new. So there's always a lot to check out. You can look at the playlist on the homepage as well, and that will direct you if you're more interested in my movie reviews, my TV reviews, some of my specialty stuff. It's all there on the playlist. So all that stuff is ready for you. So please consider subscribing, though. Would love to have you aboard in that capacity. All right, so let's talk The Color Purple. This is a movie version based on really the musical that they did on Broadway several years ago, which, of course, is also based on the book. And this stars some great people that you will know. Of course, I mentioned Danielle Brooks. She well, I don't know if she originated the role, but she was at one point part of the Broadway shows of The Color Purple. She was part of the Broadway cast, as was Fantasia Barrino from American Idol. She is in this as well, and they're both, I think they're reprising the same roles that they played on Broadway. I'm not positive about that, but you've got Taraji P. Henson as well, Corey Hawkins, her, the singer, Haley Bailey, who was the Little Mermaid, Louis Gossett Jr., John Batiste. There's a ton of people in this, and Coleman Domingo as well. I want to single him out because he also was nominated for an Academy Award this year, but not for this film, for a movie called Rustin that you can check out on Netflix. I did a review for that a few weeks ago, and he could have gotten a supporting actor nomination for this. He is great in this, and I have to admit, before his Academy Award nomination, I was not super familiar with him, but to see him in two great roles, here in these last couple weeks, I am a fan now for sure. But if you are unaware, the story surrounds Celie, who is obviously, black woman living in the American South during the early 1900s. Things, not so great there. But you have Fantasia playing the Celie character. Danielle Brooks plays Sophia. That is the Oscar-nominated role. Taraji P. Henson is Shug Avery, who is, no-nonsense singer. And then Coleman Domingo plays the infamous Mister. So, look, like I said, I can't compare it to the original movie, nor would I want to, because I think this is its own thing. But a lot of people involved in that original movie are producers here, including Steven Spielberg, who directed the original movie, Quincy Jones, and Oprah Winfrey. So you're talking about three titans of industry here. Steven Spielberg, obviously a titan in movies, Quincy Jones in music, and Oprah Winfrey in just life. She is, one of the best. And she, of course, acted in the original Color Purple. So, look, obviously a lot of love went into this movie. We want to be reverent to a very, very, sensitive and at times hard to watch story. However, I would say my biggest complaint probably with this film is, especially after reading the book, is that it is very sanitized. It is PG-13. I think the original movie was R. I'm not sure of that. But the book is very, very intense. There's really, really intense scenes of very triggering things in the book that I think, look, we don't need to see all of that played out on screen, but this is a very colorful movie, no pun intended with the title. It is, it's trying to sort of put the spin on healing rather than what all of these women are going through. And I can appreciate that. And, it makes for probably a more palatable watch for mainstream audiences. But I do think it takes a little bit of the edge off of the material. I'm not sure how it was presented on the Broadway stage, but I think the original movie was pretty intense. From what I understand about it, I really do think it was rated R. So this one, PG-13, so a little bit more cleaned up. And look, we have had musicals certainly where and both Broadway shows and movies that have really gone to dark places and had some really rough stuff going on. Les Mis comes to mind, of course, immediately. That was, a big Oscar success with Anne Hathaway winning and got nominated for a bunch of things. And that was a dark movie, and in terms of everything, the lighting was very dark. The mood was dark here, because I think we've chosen maybe to focus a little bit on more of the healing than the trauma. This is, brightly lit in places. There's a lot of bright clothing. And yeah, it makes for an enjoyable watch, I guess. But should we be, enjoying this in the way that I did, because the book, I mean, it was a good read, but, was I smiling while I was reading the book? No, I don't think once. It's very, very intense. And look, I always say you can't necessarily compare the book to the movie because usually the book is better. We know this. I'm not an avid reader, but, even I know that. So, let's focus on the movie itself, I guess. But just knowing that source material is so dark and just the themes that we sort of go through in the movie and the feelings from these women and the trauma that these women endure. I think even not reading the book, I would have thought, wow, this is particularly upbeat, for what the subject matter is. But look, you can't deny that the performances are fantastic. I think Danielle Brooks definitely deserves her nomination. I think Devine Joy Randolph will certainly take the prize from The Holdovers. Another fantastic performance. But Danielle Brooks certainly deserves to be in contention and in that conversation. Coleman Domingo, like I said, you could have easily nominated him. Best Actress, I think it's too stacked this year to include some of the people from here. Like, maybe you could have put Fantasia or Taraji P. Henson in there. I think it might be a little too stacked for either of them. But they do give great performances. Fantasia should do more acting. We've seen a lot of good acting come from the American Idol stage. Obviously, Jennifer Hudson won her Oscar for Dreamgirls, and she started on Idol as well. Kelly Clarkson, maybe not. From Justin to Kelly, we don't have to talk about that. But in any event, the music is great as well, although I will say this is another slight negative for me. Although I enjoyed the music while I was watching, I can't really say that I was like singing the tunes afterwards or humming them or even could remember most of them, whereas by comparison, Wonka, which came out I think the same week, I could still remember some of those tunes, or Wish, the Disney movie that came out shortly before this. I can still probably remember some of those tunes, but I just watched this about a week ago. I don't, I enjoyed the songs while I was watching the movie, but it's not for me music that you can kind of take with you. Unless you buy the soundtrack and listen to it over and over again and really get to know them. So that's a slight negative, but only slightly, because I did really enjoy them as I was watching the film. None of them really were like, usually there's like one song that's maybe not great. All of these, were pretty solid. So, all right, I will leave The Color Purple with a B+. And like I said, you can check it out now on Max, and the Oscars will be on March 10th. You can see there if Danielle Brooks will be a winner. But until next time, thank you for watching Dan Reviews It, and we'll see you then. Bye.